Today we're talking about the 458 Winchester Magnum. Its history, its problematic start, its versatility, its Wildcat variants, its comparison to other big game cartridges. My name's Ben, this is Benny, let's get into it. General information. The 458 Winchester Magnum is a belted, straight taper, big game rifle cartridge. It was designed to match the performance of the current big bore hunting cartridges while being able to fit in a standard long action. This cartridge is the largest in Winchester's standard length Magnum cartridge family. History. The 458 Winchester Magnum was created in 1956, chambered in the famous Winchester Model 70 bolt action rifle. The 458 Winchester Magnum is based on a 375 Holland & Holland case, shortened to 2.5 inches and expanded to accept a 458 diameter bullet. The 458 Winchester Magnum was designed to mimic the power of the 450 Nitro Express cartridge. More specifically, a 500 grain bullet travelling at 2,150 feet per second. Winchester's sales pitch was that the 458 would duplicate the performance of the 450 Nitro Express, whilst also being available in a reasonably priced and widely available bolt-action rifle that was familiar to most American hunters. It wasn't long and the 458 Winchester Magnum would become the standard dangerous game hunting cartridge in Africa. Unfortunately, issues with the cartridge began to surface. There were stories coming out of Africa of loaded 458 Winchester Magnum cartridges having erratic burn rates and unreliable ignition. To get the desired velocity, Winchester had been using compressed loads of ball powder as a propellant. These loads didn't fare very well in the African heat, and it caused clumping of the powder charge. Winchester quickly tried to remedy these problems. They changed the powder and revised their performance standards for the cartridge down by 100 feet per second to more accurately match what was actually being produced. And while this fixed the issue, the cartridge's performance on dangerous game was still called into question. Jack Lott, a well-known hunter and gun rider, had a near-death experience with a Cape buffalo in Mozambique in 1959. Lott was using a 458 Winchester Magnum on that hunt and was adamant the cartridge was not up to the task. Lacking a suitable alternative, he decided to develop a new, more powerful cartridge that would correct the limitations of the 458 Winchester Magnum. This cartridge came to be known as the 458 Lott. The versatility of the 458 Winchester Magnum. The 458 Winchester Magnum was designed for the toughest animals on this planet, but the keen reloader can exploit the versatility of this cartridge. The 458 Winchester Magnum can be downloaded to match the performance of the 4570. This gives the owner the ability to use this cartridge on many different types of game. Medium game. The 458 Winchester Magnum can be an effective medium game cartridge, especially when loaded with 250 to 300 grain projectiles, especially at shorter ranges like tight scrub and bush, and can be an effective stopper on pigs and deer. For large game, the 458 Winchester Magnum can be loaded with 350 grain projectiles and higher. This gives you an effective tool for larger bodied animals. And for dangerous game, the 458 Winchester Magnum can be loaded to its full potential, especially with modern powders, propelling a 500 grain solid at 2,100 feet per second, which will be effective on everything including elephants. Wildcat variants. The 458 by 2 inch American. This was designed by Frank Barnes as a medium power big bore cartridge for North American big game. Frank Barnes found the 458 Winchester Magnum too powerful for these species and believed that a cartridge of lesser power would be much more suited to the task. The 450 Marlin. This cartridge was developed from the previously mentioned 458 by 2 inch American and is designed as a modernized equivalent to the 4570. It was designed by a joint team of Marlin and Hornady engineers and was released in the year 2000 in their model 1895. And lastly, the 458 by 1.5, also designed by Frank Barnes. This is a 458 Winchester Magnum case, shortened to 1.5 inches, designed to launch a 500 grain projectile at subsonic speeds. This cartridge was used in the silent sniper system that was designed in response to a 1962 Army request for a low-noise sniper weapon for use in Vietnam. But the snipers preferred to use suppressed XM21 rifles instead. The 458 Winchester Magnum comparison. I wanted to do a cartridge comparison of the 458 Winchester Magnum to other cartridges in its class. But no matter which one I picked, whether it be a 416 Rigby, 458 Lott, 404 Jeffrey, or any of the other big game cartridges, I ran into the same problem. Because these cartridges are so large, the biggest variable in hunting success is more dependent on projectile construction and shot placement. So my conclusion is, pick the one you like and load it accordingly. So, what do I think of the 458 Winchester Magnum? I like it. The 458 Winchester Magnum is a heavy-hitting big game cartridge that's also surprisingly versatile.